All right, West Virginia fans, another day, another camp update. This time we have some good news as far as the running back room goes. We hear from an in-state West Virginia product. We hear from KK Tarnu, and Rich Rod lays out tomorrow's scrimmage. If you're a West Virginia fan, again, please like and subscribe to the show. It helps us grow and it helps us get our voice out there. With that being said, let's get right into the video. So let's start off with Rich Rodriguez overview from today's press conference. He really set the scene for tomorrow's scrimmage. He talked about he wants to see the effort and the limiting of mistakes that he's seen tomorrow. He wants less coaching to be involved. He doesn't want the coaches every play to tell guys where to line up and where guys are assigned to be. He wants the guys to do that on their own and make it as close to a game as possible. He talked a lot about tomorrow's scrimmage being situational football and putting guys down in the distance and starting the ball at the goal line and doing different situations that are going to help them win this season. He also talked about expectations for Jahiem White. And I'm going to play that clip now because that's one of the things that's one of the biggest question marks. How many carries can you expect Jahiem White to get this season when the room is crowded? Right now, the room isn't so crowded. So someone brought it up today at his presser, and we're going to play that clip now so that you guys can understand kind of his expectations for Jahiem this season.
I'm hoping Jahiem, what I like for Jahiem, who's a good player, I hope he's physically able to run 25, 30 times a game, which I think he will be. But I don't, I'm not just saying it because that's a fair question. I don't overthink it. Like if you're good enough to win with and a running back is in there, I'll tell our guys, they may break off, say they break off a long run, 30-yard run or something. And a lot of times you see them tap out just to get a blow, right? And I don't blame them for doing that, but once we sub, allow them to sub. So I told our guys, you got to take off a 30-yard run. You might need to go jet tempo and do a 30-yard run and do another one because we're not going to sub. Sometimes we would, sometimes we won't. So the type of mentality our backs have, and I think they all have it anyway, is like, hey, you can hand it to me 10 straight times, I'll be able to run it and be in shape. Inevitably, though, you better have at least 3 that you can win with. And I think we can, but right now we're still working on that.
All right, so there you go. So again, he wants to see 3 to 4 backs, and he said, if he thinks Jahiem has the body type to do 25 to 30 carries a game, which if he does that consistently, he's going to have a crazy season with a lot of yards. So be on the lookout for that as far as how many carries Jahiem gets this season. I think he's going to get a bunch. He talked about redshirting players today, and he basically said redshirting is kind of going by the wayside because with the transfer portal, guys aren't going to stick around to be on this team, or they might be there for the next staff. So he's just kind of being honest with the situation, right? Redshirting is not going to be a thing that is as consistent. He even brought up the 5 years rule, where when guys get to campus, they have 5 years to play no matter what. So he put his 2 cents on that, and it was pretty interesting. He also told a really funny story about Xavier Bosley today and the Jacksonville State players. So for those who don't know, Rich Rodriguez has a few players that came over from Jacksonville State, but they left early. So there's some players on the team like Xavier Bosley and KK Tarnu who played for Rich Rod 2 years ago, played for West Virginia last year, and now Rich Rod's back to coach them. So he gave a really funny story about Xavier Bosley, and we're going to listen to this first, and then we'll talk about this a little bit more in more detail. And it's right here.
A couple of guys who transferred from Jacksonville State to West Virginia 2 years ago. They're still here. So did you have to have special conversations with them coming in saying, I don't hold it against you, or don't fear me, or what?
I think I saw Bosley first time. I said, "Hey Xavier, I'm back. Yeah. Are you gonna leave again?" Oh, he's a West Virginia guy. So no, we had a big chuckle on that. Did I tell you all the Bosley story? We were recruiting him at Jack State, and him and his dad. They got a great family, and they were talking. And we usually, when we talk, you usually fill out a form, or not a form, and just talk. Say, hey, tell them something unique about that we might want to know about you, right? And he said, my dad burned all Rich Rod things, pictures and everything in 2007. He put it on fire, cussed you out, all that kind of stuff. And so I had a good laugh with his father about that. So I said, well, now you got to go buy. See, you wouldn't burn I'll burn all my stuff. You might have already had some West Virginia stuff. So,
He's got to get it all back.
yeah, he's going to have to buy it new. Maybe we'll sell something to the family.
All right, that just puts things in perspective. So I know a lot of my fans are lifelong West Virginia fans, and people feel a certain way with him coming back. Some people are excited, some people are skeptical. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel. Are you excited to have Rich Rod back, or are you still hurt about what happened in 2007? That would be interesting to hear. Also, let me know if you have any funny stories of how you reacted in 2007 when that happened. I know that was one of the top stories in college football, and I know how hurt the fans were. So I know him coming back is not exciting to everyone, and it was just funny to hear him say that today. Everyone in the room was laughing at that one, according to the clip. So really funny stuff from Rich Rod today. Let's talk about some good news. Sincere Bowers returns. So Sincere Bowers is a talented guy coming up from the JUCO ranks, 155 carries, 1,000 yards last year, and 12 touchdowns. He also can pass catch, 24 catches for 363 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he clocked a 4.340 in the summer that Jahiem White kind of showed everyone. He leaked his 40 time, and Sincere's stuck out. So we'll take this guy. He's quick. I think he has a chance to play this year, especially if he can stay healthy. So I'm not sure what his injury situation looks like, but it was good to hear him back today. Rich Rodriguez also talked about Bowers today, and he talked about the room in general as a whole. So let's get to that quote.
Hours out there. I don't know how much you've got to work him. Obviously, he's just getting back into it. But what can he give you? What do you see out of him?
He's an athletic guy. He's one. I don't know I should look up what the speed was, the 40 times, whatever. But he's one of the faster guys we got, and a good football player, very conscientious. So he was been a little banged up, and he was back in white jersey today. So we need we gotta. I'd like to have 3 or 4 running backs to roll in there. If one guy's hot, we'll keep him in there, of course. But we're working on it. We're trying to get some guys healthy, and we don't have the biggest group right now as far as physical size there yet, but they're good workers.
All right. So again, you hear there. We talked yesterday. Noel Devine's son, Andre Devine, might be joining the group. So if you get Bowers back, you have Jahiem. Hopefully you get Ty Edwards back, maybe Jalen Knighton, Katzer, Ash, all those guys. Hopefully that this room looks a lot different in 3 weeks when they're ready to play the first game. But it was an encouraging sign to hear that Sincere Bowers practiced today. All right, let's talk about some additions on the roster. So we were on a video earlier this week. We talked about Olu Amatasho from Oregon State possibly joining the roster. We broke that down, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It was reported today that he was practicing and he was on the roster. And this is a big pickup, especially to add some depth on that edge and defensive line room, especially with Robinson's situation up in the air. This definitely can't hurt. This guy's played some decent snaps, as you can see, and put up decent stats, so we'll definitely take him. There was also a junior college addition today that was reported. Caleb Nui Yandel, a linebacker, played out in California. First team all-conference. He comes in at 6 foot, 240 pounds, and is a teammate of defensive end Adam Tomczyk, who's currently on the roster, another JUCO guy. So they came from the same junior college. They added him. Not sure what his role is going to be, but I wanted to address it since that was reported today at camp as well. KK Tarnu. KK Tarnu spoke today, and KK is one of those players that I really liked last year. I felt like as the year went on, he made his presence known a lot more at the end of the season and saw his role become more important, especially as injuries happened. He talked about a bunch of stuff today, and the biggest thing was he compared last year's culture to this year's culture in that room, and he said last year was more of a me culture and this year is more of an us culture. So he said it, not me. I found that interesting. He said that the team overall plays better as a collective group, and you're going to see 11 hats to the ball. He talked about how this year's defense, because of the defensive coordinator, is going to be a lot more aggressive compared to last year, which was a little bit more passive. He talked about being reunited with Rich Rodriguez, and he actually called it a blessing because he actually had an extra year of eligibility, and that came down late. So he didn't really know what was his future had. But now that Rich Rod's back, who he used to play for at Jacksonville State, that they can come back together at West Virginia is a really cool story. He also talked about his background. He came to the USA at age 12 from an African country, and he started playing football as a 10th grader. So this guy's only been playing football for a handful of years, and the fact that he's at the Power Four level and seeing significant snaps, shout out to KK. I really liked listening to him speak today. I'm going to show you a clip of kind of what he talked about and what was highlighted here, and then we'll move on.
Watched the secondary struggle last year. What will they see this year that's different from this group? You're one of the few guys that's back from that last year. How is it going to look different to them?
So the biggest thing is it start with the defensive coordinator, right? He put us in the spot to succeed. He allowed us to understand the situation we're in, and also just kind of going over details, information throughout the whole week, what we expect to see and what we are going to see. And the biggest difference is, I say, we just have a lot of guys who bought in, and I'm not saying the other guys didn't, but I'm just saying now we have it's like a one unit, right? We all understand, we all communicate. It's not like I'm just showing up on the field to do my job. I'm also showing the field to help him out, to also he gonna help me out in the way.
All right, yeah. So again, it's interesting to hear for some of the players that were here last year and that are here now this year. Like we've heard from Rodney talk about the difference, and we heard from Eddie V and now KK talk about the difference from last year to this year. So it's always interesting to compare cultures. Is that going to relate to more wins? I don't know. That's going to be found out in the next few weeks, but really good stuff from KK. I hope he has a big season. And then let's talk about this one here, Jarod Bowie. Jarod Bowie. Nice player coming over from Jacksonville State, is an in-state product. So if you see the photo here, he's actually in a Martinsburg uniform making a play, and he's wearing a West Virginia hand warmer. So this guy's had West Virginia on his mind for a while. I know West Virginia fans love to see in-state kids come and get their shot. Funny story about Martinsburg. When I was in college, I went to a Morgantown versus Martinsburg high school football game, and the Martinsburg football fans, they were so passionate. You could tell they love their dogs. So if you're from Martinsburg and you're watching this, shout out to your high school football program. You guys were fun to watch, and you guys have put some really good players out in the college level recently. So respect to you guys. But let's get back to Bowie. His junior college, D2, right, at Concord, he had 102 catches, 1,700 yards, and 18 catches in that season. So those stats that you see there are from Division II Concord. And then last year he had 13 catches for 207 yards. But the big thing with him is what he did in his last game. So in the bowl game last year, he really shined. 4 catches for 105 yards, and made his presence known in that way. So could he be peaking at the right time for his senior year? He was a guy that I put in the needs a good camp bracket when I did the receiver preview, and it seems like he really has done that so far. Rich Rod has mentioned the slots, and he said he's been extremely helpful to those guys and has made plays. So I'm not sure what his role is going to be, but I think at this point you can expect him to be in that area at some point, catching passes for the Mountaineers. He talked. I'm going to play 2 clips about him coming home, and then we'll wrap up the show. But it was cool to hear from Bowie today about him coming home and what it means to be a Mountaineer.
Obviously, being from the state, that you're going to be able to put on these colors and play in front of the people of the state of West Virginia.
So crazy to me. It actually is, because when I was like 16 playing Martinsburg, I used to come up here every home game and watch David Sills and the boys play. So I used to be right there on the 100 and that right after the game, walk down there, sing country roads with them. It's actually a beyond blessing just to strap up with blue and gold and play for the state I've always lived at. So it's a blessing.
Yeah, it's cool to hear in-state kids and how much it means to them. He said watching David Sills and singing country roads with those guys, you can tell it means a lot to him. And he talks about that a little bit more here in this next clip.
We're real successful. Go to Jacksonville State, again, having success. And then you hear Coach Rod's coming back to West Virginia. You're an in-state kid. What goes through your mind? Did you instantly jump in? What was your thought when that initially happened?
So truthfully, like right after the bowl game, I heard some good things, and then I was just like, this is my shot to go home. It's my shot to be home, play home, and this is a dream come true. So I did. That was right after the bowl game, I chose to jump right in the portal. Knew I was coming home. it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
All right. Again, so it sounds like a guy that's grateful for his opportunity. That's all I got for today. All right. So a little update on the show. I'm actually traveling to Disney tomorrow, so I'm going to be gone for about a week. So the camp updates might not be coming as quickly, especially because I'm gone. I'm going to still put stuff out. I have some stuff that's pre-recorded that's going to come out. So still check out the channel and still share it with people. But the camp updates, like I've been doing, probably is going to slow down because I'm going to be on vacation with my family and my kids. With that being said, I really appreciate everyone who's been supporting the show so far. Like I said, we've been growing like crazy. I'm still trying to grow more as football season goes so we can really talk about the Mountaineers and have fun and build an audience. Like I said, leave comments. Let me know what you think about Rich Rod back in the day and how you feel now. That's all I really got. I really appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Let's go Mountaineers.